Obviously, Sue, he didn't have the Euros this summer. He got 2 weeks more off than he did even the summer before without a major tournament. Is that a factor here?
Well, it could be. He's obviously come back refreshed. He's had time to think about his season last season. What am I going to do this year? More time to, I suppose, work on that. He's not got that hangover maybe that some of the players have got coming back from a Euros, whether that's physically tired or whether that's, you know, if you've got to the latter stages, you've maybe been knocked out, analysing your performance. He's just been able to focus on Manchester City, what am I going to do when I go back? And you can see he started so sharply. And like you mentioned there, that work rate as well off the ball. That's something that I know Manchester City players, that's what Pep Guardiola says to them. It's brilliant what you do on the ball, but you have to work hard off the ball. And he's showing that as well. So he's showing that other side of his game.
Is he the best we've ever seen in the Premier League?
In terms of finishing, yes. In terms of all-round game, perhaps not. I think I'd personally prefer Thierry Henry. I think he was just an incredible striker, great goals, ability to run you. But I said this last week, he'll smash Shearer's record if he stays in the Premier League. He'll absolutely obliterate that. They'll be getting nowhere near. Shearer will get nowhere near what he can set. So in terms of finishing, though, he's just hungry. He's desperate to score goals, and you can see that. He is in an exceptional team, though, and that is one of the things.
How much is that? Because you said when that ball was delivered through and he was already looking at the keeper that he knew it was going to come to him. So,
yeah.
Cynics, detractors, people who like it half full rather than half empty rather than half full go, oh, of course he's going to score these goals. He is playing for Manchester City, but actually what I'm hearing from you is his finishing is so good, he might even be able to do this, I don't know, at an Exeter or wherever he's playing.
You're only as good as the service provided to you. Now, I watched Leicester versus Aston Villa at the weekend, and there was an opportunity where Ollie Watkins went through in a 1v1. Keeper saved it, wasn't clinical enough, and that was the way it was. So, listen, he doesn't score every single opportunity. He gets 7 or 8 opportunities a game, and he is very clinical. But you go back to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when he was at Everton, he had that purple patch. He had James Rodriguez providing for him. He had Luca Dean providing for him, crosses, time and time again. That is because you're only as good as the service being provided to you. So people have purple patches in and around who they're playing with. He's clinical. But would he do it at a lesser team in the Premier League? He would. He wouldn't score as many because they wouldn't get as many chances. But yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, they went into the game having seen Arsenal drop points earlier in the day. It is early, only 3 games in, but such is the narrow margins involved in the Premier League title in the past couple of seasons. Even at this early stage, would that have been a boost for them?
I think Manchester City just go about their business. They don't really look at what other sides are doing. They just keep trying to pick up those results. And we saw last season how close it was. And again, I think it's going to be another really tight finish between the two sides. Just when you think maybe Manchester City aren't as strong, where they lose Alvarez, Oscar Bob gets injured, you think, are they going to sign anyone? Are they going to bring anybody in? Gundogan comes back, and obviously he knows the club inside out. He can fit straight into that system. They had players missing. Obviously Rodri, hadn't played. There was other players that Grealish, I think, was injured as well. So they had players out, and yet they were still able to perform at such a high level. And that's what Pep Guardiola's always able to do, is he can always adapt. He can change things. He has new ideas, fresh ideas that you end up watching Manchester City and you go, wow, like, what have they done now? And it's something different that he never just goes, oh, well, we've gone and won the league, we've gone and won the Champions League, we'll just stay as we are. He always tries to improve them. And that's what makes it so difficult, I think, to catch this Manchester City side.
Rodri's a really interesting one, because before this season, the statistics would tell you without him they don't win as convincingly and as often. Yeah. Are they debunking those statistics this season?
So far, yeah, so far they are. Rodri's the one in the big games, the one who senses danger against the bigger teams. I think a lot of people do a disservice to Kovacic. I think Kovacic is an outstanding player. Needed to understand the system perhaps a little bit better. I think when you throw out stats like that and people talk about Rodri all the time, there's an element where Kovacic will be sat there thinking, hang about, I can do a good job for Manchester City. So he'll be up in his game knowing that people are talking that way. But there's no doubt in City are a better team when Rodri comes into it, and that will make them all the stronger.